Today I'm going to explain a drama and romance film called The Sleeping Dictionary. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. When the British Empire still reigns over its colonies, young Englishmen are sent abroad to serve as administrators. One of them, John Truscott, arrives in Sarawak expecting to be met by officials, but instead, a local man named Balansai greets him and speaks English fluently. John is then taken to meet Henry Bull, the district governor, who takes him for a ride in a car pulled by water buffalo. Henry comments that John's academic credentials are far too good for such a posting, so John explains that his late father once served there and had planned to bring education to the Iban people before dying in the war. John now hopes to fulfill that dream. Henry shows John the house he'll be living in and mentions an invitation to a tribal gathering the next day. At the event, John meets the headman, Malacca, and is offered rice wine. He hesitates, but Balansai tells him it's rude to refuse, so he drinks. When he looks up, he sees Salima, the woman serving the drink, and is immediately struck by her beauty. During the ceremony, Salima performs a traditional dance with other women, and John is completely captivated. Afterward, John is asked to entertain the guests, so he recites an English poem that no one understands. Embarrassed and drunk, he joins Balansai in dancing, amusing the crowd. The next morning, Henry informs him about Chinese miners being killed for trespassing on tribal lands and assigns John to retrieve their heads as proof. Before they continue, Malacca and Salima arrive. Henry then explains that Salima will live with John as his sleeping dictionary, a local woman assigned to European officers to teach them the language and customs, often through intimacy. John refuses at first, believing Salima is being forced into it, but she tells him she volunteered. Her mother was also a sleeping dictionary and had a child, Salima, with an Englishman, making her half English. Salima says the arrangement will help her improve her English, which she wants. John accepts her as his tutor but insists they won't sleep together, angering Henry and offending Salima. That night, she stays in his house but sleeps in a separate room. Later, Balansai plays a prank by giving John monkey heads instead of the miners' heads, and everyone laughs at him. Salima is upset by the mockery, and the two leave together. When John's cook, Famous, brings him a young man to act as a sleeping dictionary, assuming John prefers men, John is furious and fires Salima in frustration. She fires him back and storms off. The next day, John finds her living under his house. Famous explains that she can't go back because the tribe would shame her for failing to seduce him. John admits he finds her beautiful and only resisted because of his beliefs, so they agree to start over. Over time, they grow closer. Henry's wife, Aggie, advises John to sleep with Salima, warning that people will assume he's impotent if he doesn't. One night, John and Salima practice phrases through the thin wall separating their rooms. When Salima teases him for being a virgin, they touch hands through a hole in the wall, and John asks why she chose him. She says it's because his dance at the ceremony wasn't like an Englishman's. Their relationship slowly deepens. After a playful underwater contest with Balansai earns John respect among the locals, he and Salima share stories from their childhood. During a language lesson, they start naming body parts while touching each other. When they reach the lips, they finally kiss, and that night they become lovers. Their affair continues, but Salima always leaves before morning, explaining that waking up together would mean they're engaged, something John supposedly wouldn't want. Later, John meets Henry's daughter, Cecil, who has returned from England. She's curious about the Iban culture and dismisses the sleeping dictionary tradition as a myth. When Henry insists that duty and loyalty to one's country must come before personal feelings, John reluctantly agrees. Cecil begins following John around for her research, and during a local competition, she tries to photograph Salima, who becomes angry and tells John to make her stop. Soon after, Henry discovers a mysterious disease spreading among the nearby Yakata tribe, and John volunteers to investigate. Before he leaves, Aggie privately offers him a deal. If he marries Cecil, they'll make sure his father's dream of building schools comes true. John is shocked but doesn't respond. Later, he apologizes to Salima for not protecting her from Cecil's intrusion, but she lashes out, accusing him of being just like every other man who's used her. Hurt, John walks away. On the journey upriver, John and Balansai find that the Akata tribe is suffering from a strange illness. When they discover European miners nearby, John realizes the miners traded poisoned rice to the tribe to drive them out and claim the land. The villagers retaliate and kill the miners. During this ordeal, Salima falls ill, and John confesses that he loves her. They exchange handmade bracelets as symbols of their love and vow to find a way to be together. When John returns, he asks Henry for permission to marry Salima, but Henry refuses, revealing that he, too, once loved his sleeping dictionary but gave her up out of duty. John argues that duty led to his own father's death and storms out. Meanwhile, Balansai warns Salima that if she doesn't give John up, both of them will be blamed for the miners' deaths. Henry and Aggie pressure John to return to England for a year, or they'll have him imprisoned. John runs to Salima's village to save her, but she's locked inside the longhouse. To protect him, she pretends to reject him and lets him go. A year later, John returns to England and marries Cecil. On their wedding night, she admits she knows about Salima but is grateful that John learned from her. When Cecil asks what became of Salima, John says Henry's letter claimed she married Balansai. Eventually, John and Cecil go back to Sarawak to open the first IBAN school. During a film screening with local officials, Cecil notices John watching the villagers outside the fence. At home, she tries to seduce him, but it ends awkwardly. Tearfully, she confesses she's jealous of what John once shared with Salima. John reassures her that he wants their marriage to work too, yet his lingering sadness makes it clear that his heart still belongs to Salima. Drunkenly knocking something over, Cecil demands that John fire his chef, Famous. John defends him, saying Famous has been with him since he arrived in Sarawak. But Cecil insists that Famous dislikes her and favors Salima. To appease her, John takes Famous to Neville Shippert, another British official, and offers him as Neville's new cook. When they arrive, however, they discover that Neville has been abusing his own sleeping dictionary. John confronts Neville, but Neville mocks him for falling in love with Salima and admits that he had planned to marry Cecil himself if John hadn't done so first. That evening, John overhears Aggie advising her daughter to stop trying to make her husband love her. Feeling guilty, John approaches Cecil and kisses her in front of Aggie to reassure her. Later, while John and his men are collecting rock samples by the riverside, he spots Salima and Balansai with a young boy who has blue eyes and blonde hair. Realizing the child is his, John rushes home and confirms with Famous that the boy, Mundar, is indeed his son. He tries to bribe Famous into arranging a meeting with Salima, but Famous admits he's already tried and that Salima refused to see him. Determined, John tells Famous to lie and say that Tipong, an elder, is sick and needs her help. That night, Salima comes to the house and finds John waiting. She tries to leave, but he pleads to see their son. When he hears the baby outside, Salima rushes to take the child away, warning that they'd be executed if anyone found them together. John catches up, and she tells him that Mundar now belongs to Balansai, who married her even knowing she was pregnant. Still, she lets John hold the baby, and he gently recites a passage from a fairy tale to his son. The next morning, Aggie sees John carving a small wooden boat and assumes he and Cecil are expecting a baby. John pretends that's true, but Aggie realizes he's lying. She warns him that the only reason she and Henry stayed in Sarawak was to stop him from running back to Salima. She threatens to expose him if he ever leaves Cecil. Despite the warning, John secretly spends time with Salima and their son by the river, unaware that Neville knows about their meetings. When Balansai learns of it, tribal law forces him to attack John to defend his honor. He wounds John but spares his life. Because attacking a British officer is a capital crime, Balansai is sentenced to death, and Henry blames John for the situation. Henry then reveals a painful truth: he is Salima's father. He admits he allowed her to become John's sleeping dictionary, thinking John would treat her well, but not so well that he'd fall in love with her. He insists that it's better this way, arguing that John must honor his duty and his wife. At Balansai's trial, John tries to save him, but Balansai confesses to the attack to protect his honor before his tribe. John manages only to delay the execution. That night, Salima goes to John to beg for her husband's life, not knowing Cecil is secretly watching them. The next day, John is forced to officially sentence Balansai to hang. Salima sneaks into the officers' quarters to steal the prison keys but finds them missing. John has already freed Balansai himself. He gives the man a gun and urges him to escape into the jungle. John then tells Salima to meet him at the docks so they can run away together. She doesn't believe he'll come, but he insists that he'd rather have her than his duty or his country. They share a passionate kiss before parting. The next morning, Henry angrily confronts John, knowing he freed Balansai but unable to prove it. Meanwhile, Salima tries to find refuge with the British, as her tribe has turned against her. Aggie lets her and Mundar go with Neville, who offers to take Salima as his new sleeping dictionary. John's plan to escape collapses when Cecil reveals she's pregnant. That night, Neville tries to force himself on Salima, but she knocks him out with a clock, and Famous helps her flee. Back home, Cecil finds John writing a farewell letter to her. She quietly accepts it, realizing what he intends to do. She tells him that she once believed he loved her when he proposed, but she's always known his heart belonged to someone else. Tearfully, she says she doesn't want to live her life, just happy enough, and releases him to go after Salima. Salima and Famous reach the docks, but John hasn't arrived yet. When he finally gets there, he finds only Famous, who tells him that Salima has gone toward the river. Henry finds her first. He tries to stop her but, overcome with guilt, gives her a gun for protection instead. Salima thanks him, calling it her second gift, and shows him the fairy tale book he gave her as a child, proof that she always knew he was her father. They share a tearful farewell before Henry helps her escape. When Aggie sees that neither Henry nor Cecil will pursue them, she orders Neville to track the lovers down. Neville head into the mountains, where John finally reunites with Salima, only for Neville to appear and hold them at gunpoint. He forces them to handcuff themselves together, then threatens to kill them after assaulting Salima. Enraged, John breaks free and attacks Neville, but Neville beats him down using Henry's gun. Salima manages to shoot Neville in the arm before the gun jams. Just as Neville is about to kill them, Yakata warriors arrive and strike him down, rescuing John, Salima, and their son. Eventually, the Yakata tribe accepts the small family as their own. As the elderly women sing in their native tongue, Salima translates, explaining that they are preparing to build a new village elsewhere. John agrees to join them, as long as he can stay with his family. In the end, John and Salima stand together, dancing in a paradise of their own making. Subscribe for more movie recaps like this, and don't forget to turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching.